Hey fellow archers and bow hunters, I've been wanting to give you guys an idea of what it looks like to look behind the ultimate clear view peep, but what's been a struggle is our eye just works different than the lens of a camera and what a camera shows. So I've got a couple things together here for a demonstration of what it looks like to look behind the clear vision peep, clear view peep. So traditionally, this is what we've all been taught. When you're aligning your peep sight around a sight housing, we know if you can't see your sight housing, the edge of your sight housing, it's too small. If you can see too much of it in daylight, then it's too big. And we know that these two create inaccuracy in your shots and groups and everything else. So this does work in regular lighting conditions. Best case scenario, it's worked for years and years, but I've run into problems with this setup because the best part of hunting is hunting in the morning, early morning or late evening. Well, what happens when there's less light to our eye, less light shining on an object that gets back to our eye, and our eye dilates in low light, this is what happens, and it creates inaccuracy. So I thought, well, the sight housing is already blocking our view. Why not align our peep starting closer to the edge? So this is what the clear view peep does. So we've tested many different sizes, many different draw lengths, and our eyes are so powerful and so similar to one another that this is going to work for you. Of course, there's always a way to micro adjust. So instead of micro adjusting your peep, if you have a slider sight, it's going to be able to micro adjust your sight to your peep. So the clear view peep, what it does, instead of aligning around there, it aligns over top to such a degree that you're going to see more of a sliver to the inside diameter of your sight housing and over your peep, versus when you're looking through it, you're seeing your sight housing, which is blocking your view, and then you got your peep on the outside, which is blocking your view. So all this area above and below is blocking the light transfer back to your eye and putting together a good image. And in low light conditions, you're running into gaps and a bigger peep blocking it. So it is a smaller peep. So now you're aligning over and you can see all this area around your sight housing. And when an animal's in close, you're just not seeing the shoulder. Now you're seeing a little head, part of the body towards the rump. And now you can see if the head's moving a little bit, if they're on alert, if they're gonna move, and it gets that anxiety feeling out of there, like you need to hurry and get it on there and put a pin and hit the trigger. So this gets you on target quicker because you're seeing more. It helps you get a better view so you're less anxious about the shot. Well, one feature also about this peep is there's a notch, and the point of it is to help you micro anchor. So on your sight housing, you put a contrasting color. White usually works best. If you have a white, then you can go with the light green that you see better in low light. But what happens is if you are just barely off, if this isn't in your center like a regular sight, then you know that you're off. But once you're centered, it's there, no gaps, no torque, you are ready to go. Well, just like any peep, this one too, in low light conditions, as our eyes dilate, it thins down a little bit more. And this is what it looks like more in really low light conditions, is it thins down to where it looks like it is just on top of it. So if you move your hand just a little bit, if you move your position behind your peep just a little bit, you're going to see. So the dreaded blur or peep blur that happens when shooting a smaller diameter peep, because you've got small diameter, low light, you got all this area that's just blocking your view. Our eyes try to gray everything out and make sense of everything. But because of the design of this peep, you are always going to be able to see through your sight housing, because what's nice is this area above and below, it still lets light come to your eye and you put together a good sight picture. So I hope that helps explain the difference between a regular peep that blocks your view basically and decreases light transfer versus the ultimate clear view peep that goes more over your sight housing and aligns just like that. And the view is amazing. So if you ask any pro, they'll tell you that shooting a smaller diameter peep provides some advantages for sight and accuracy. So what this clear view peep does at distance, you're going to be able to shoot more accurately. So the size of this internal diameter is just under a 5/32, and what it does is it fits sight housings that are roughly internal diameters of 1.5 inches to about 1 7/8 inches, and outside diameters that are 2 inches to about 2 1/4. So you get the best of both worlds. You get accuracy at long distance, but you get better field of view at close distance. So if an animal's in there at 10, 15, 20 yards, you are seeing a better picture, and at distance, you're more accurate. I have another pro tip for you when it comes to shooting. So we know that form is important, bow setup is important, arrow setup is important. The way your peep is aligned is very important. Like George Riles says, the driving force of accuracy is your peep sight. We also know that how you actuate your trigger in a smooth fashion is important, but it comes down to how this is aligned and where your pin is at and how you actuate the trigger in the time when it's ready to shoot. And that's what makes archery hard, is you've got to do multiple things all at once, almost at the same time. But what's tricky and what neuroscience has shown us over the years and taught us is that our brains don't microtask. Basically, they think of one thing at a time. So if you're concentrating on your pin, it's difficult to concentrate on your release and the position. So the pro tip is if you can basically feel like you are not seeing just in this area, but you're seeing in this area, so you can see the edge of your peep, how it's aligned with your sight. You can see your pin, you can see your bubble, you can see where you're aiming, all as a large view versus a teeny tiny view. You're seeing this big sight picture. You will be able to think between those tasks quickly, and that's what multitasking is being able to think quickly between pin sight trigger, pin sight trigger, bubble, arm, squeeze, alignment, and do that quickly. And then that's what makes you more efficient. So what you want to be able to do is see all this at once, and it'll help you be better at becoming more accurate. I want to share a scenario with you that might get you thinking about the importance of peep sight alignment and accuracy. So we've all shot a perfectly well executed arrow, and hopefully we'll all understand how that happened and why. If not, Joel Turner gives some great teaching advice along with others, Paige, John, Levi, etc. So the importance of peep sight and alignment is the driving factor of accuracy. You think about it, when everything's aligned up and your bow's tuned and your form is great and the pin is where it needs to be, and you go to actuate the trigger. A lot of us have punched a trigger and we've shot an arrow that has excellent results. It basically hit where we wanted to hit. And we've also shot an arrow that when we actually weight the trigger with a surprise release, it's also hit perfect. But you think about it, if this pin isn't where it is, and this alignment where it is needs to be, even if you actuate a great release or even a not so great release, that arrow will not be going where you think it will be going. So pay close attention to how your peep sight is aligned with your sight housing, and make sure it is always in your shot process to double check. I talked to one person and they said, well, I can just remember and make sure my bubble is level and then I'm good to shoot a shot. Well, what's going to be more accurate is knowing that you're level, but knowing more that you are well aligned consistently on each shot. And the nice thing about this peep is it gives you feedback. It gives you feedback if you're moving a little bit, if your face has a little bit of pressure and it's moving it, if you're kind of pulling a little bit more. It gives you some of the best feedback of any peep sight.